you guys, welcome to today's video. Today is an extension of yesterday's video. Well, actually, on Saturday's video. This is going to go up on Monday. And I'm taking a look at Bobbi Brown's new foundation called Weightless Skin Oil Controlling Foundation with SPF 15. Never depend on your foundation to give you your sunscreen. I've already done my sunscreen. Today I'm wearing something different. I am wearing the Naked Sundays Cabana Creme. And this is fairly new for me, and as I put it on, I thought, oh, I probably should have done the Tula Mineral Magic because I have a little bit more experience. Well, I've been wearing it for 2 years, so I have a lot more experience with that one to see how it works with other foundations. But we're going to do that foundation again today. But first I want to tell you a couple of things about that first video. I had said, wow, you really need to blend this in pretty quick when I was on my chest. And as I was editing, I realized I had no skincare at all on my chest. So it was bone dry. I didn't even have sunscreen on my chest. And for the rest of the day, I put on one of those gray shirts you see me wearing all the time. I have a slew of them, and they're kind of my go-to. It did not transfer onto that. So one, it's not as stiff as I thought it was. It was just I had nothing on my chest. And two, I wore that gray shirt. It's not tight, it's loose, but it's still there. Didn't transfer at all. It was hot. It was humid. I did not lean into it. I did not take Grace out for a walk, but it looked beautiful all day long, and even though it's oil controlling, it did not feel dry. Now, the reason I wanted to do this sunscreen is it doesn't leave me very shiny, where in beauty, if it doesn't have mica in it, it has that mica quality, so it has a lot of sheen to it. So I can see what this finish might be on people who have different skin types or use primers or different sunscreens than I do, and so you can see what it is. And then we're going to go on with the new YSL liquid blushes. I got mine in store because I wasn't able to order it for reasons I do not understand. It just kept on clicking through, and I thought, screw this. I went to Sephora, they didn't have it. I said, it'll be a few weeks. This is the color. It's Berry Balm, I believe. And I thought, well, let me just go to Nordstrom. And I did. And they had several of the colors, not all of them. And I decided to take a chance on this darker color called Berry Balm. And I'm definitely going for a look today. I'm doing a fall look, even though it's not fall yet. Some of us are longing for fall. But don't worry, in the next week or so, I'm going to be doing a huge bronzer video for those of us who are hanging on to summer. Nordstrom's doesn't give a huge sample. I'm going to do with fingers this time because it conserves. And I love doing finger applications, and let's go for it. Again, I'm noting that it is scented. It's kind of like a spa scent. And I have the color Beige, which is, I think, a hair light on me. And the slip is really good, so I put on my sunscreen 15 minutes ago. I think with fingers, I will get even less coverage. But that's okay. Even though I did my zip this morning, I'm not as red as I often am after I do zip. And then, you know, we could do a little chit-chatting if you want, you guys. I finally saw Horizon. Did you guys see it? I mean, not too many people did. It's on Max right now. And I really don't know what to make of it. The first 20 minutes, I wanted to turn it off. And the thing is, when you see a movie in a theater, you paid for it. You're not going to get up, no matter what. But when it's in your living room, you're like, maybe I'll watch The Crown again. But I hung on, and it picked up once Kevin Costner got on screen, which I think is a coincidence. I'm not saying that there was nothing going on before he got on screen. I'm just saying that the edits were really rough. They didn't transition well, they didn't lead in well, and it felt really amateurish. Like he didn't shoot it. You know, like what the hell? So sheer coverage with this application, and I maintain it doesn't look like makeup. You really can't see it on the skin. And it's super, super beautiful. If you don't have a lot to cover, that might be all you're going to do. I do. And I am a believer, I know a lot of people do concealer, and I've done it myself before, but concealer is a heavier product. And as you get older, those thicker products don't lay on the skin as well. So I think it's better to just add foundation. Go on with a thin layer, work it in. You need some more coverage, go on with a little bit more. And it builds beautifully. So I have found when something doesn't build beautifully, it looks like you haven't blended in your makeup, if that makes sense. It's like, oh, you put a little too much right here, I can see it, but this is not the case. I don't find that this is a blurring foundation, but it really doesn't look like foundation. So I'm going to bring you in one more time, lean in, just in time for the helicopter. Now, that's the police helicopter. Otherwise, I would say, I'm pretty sure it's against the law to fly that low, but they do it all the time, and laws apply to them too. But yeah, that's my life, such as it is, and this is super, super pretty on the skin. And while I feel that it's a hair too light, not bad, the color beige for me. You know what I should have talked about? I just put a little something on my lips, and we're going to let everything set up before we go on with the blush, but I should have talked about something else. One of the reasons that I really don't stay on top of Bobbi Brown is she was quite famous for making yellow foundations. When she was a makeup artist, she was using European foundations, and she said they were all pink. And she believed all people have yellow skin. So she went the opposite direction. And while she had some really nice formulations that I liked, I felt like a clown face. And I thought, I'm swearing this off. I used to do sand, and that was my right depth of tone, but it was far, far too warm. When I was at Nordstrom's, I was quite surprised to find that they had sand, and I think they had warm sand. I can't imagine how much warmer that would be than sand, but they had cool sand. And then when I went online, I saw that they also have cool beige. So if you were like me and you stay away from Bobbi Brown because it's so, so warm, maybe it's time to start looking again, especially with this foundation, because she is getting into cooler tones. All right, let's go on with the YSL, and let me tell you a little bit about it. These videos, I think I did speak about it in the first video, but it is called YSL Make Me Blush 12-Hour Blurring Liquid Blush in 6 shades, and I have Berry Bang. It is 15 ml, a highly pigmented and creamy liquid to powder blush that is blendable, buildable, and melts into skin for a blurring, soft cloud finish up to 12 hours of wear. I love that. I think part of the reason there's a lot of liquid blushes now and cream blushes because they look like clouds. You blend them well, if it's a good formula, it looks like it's coming from within. That said, I will say that powders have improved tremendously. I am not going to put this directly on my face because it is dark. I'm going to pick up this brush. It's out of stock, but I have to tell you, you must get this. I'm really in love with it. It's the AA01 from Repher, Alexandra Anel's brush. And I have used it for highlighter, I have used it for blush, I have used it for bronzer, I have used it for contour, and I love it. So I'm just picking this up in the sheerest manner, and again, because this is very pigmented and this color itself is very deep, just build. Especially since this foundation isn't full coverage. It's not like I can go over. Now, it's different than I had thought it might be. I was hoping there wasn't any blue in here, but now that I put it on, I feel that there is. And not a lot. And this brush has, the way their fibers are, it's like when you get your hair cut and they razor cut it. So you can pick it up on the tip, and then as you blend in, those shorter hairs will blend the circumference. It's, I gotta tell you, good job from Alexandra Nell. Now, I'm gonna wipe this brush off. It blended easy, there was no problem at all, but before I move in, well, let's move in. Maybe you'll see something, maybe you won't. But they're saying it's blurring, and it's 12-hour wear. But I have a little bit more on this side than this side. I think it's just the light is different. Now, I am going to go in with the new contour, because I tried this the other day. In the video where I talked about this, I swiped it on, and it was a lot. I blended it out, but I tried it with this brush, and it's genius. So I just wiped the brush off, working it in, take some off, and this has a scent too, as most Dior products do. Look how easy that is. It's just the hint of color. And on this side, I don't see quite as well because of the lights. My choice is you can see what's going on, or I can. There, now I can. I'm not sure if it's even Steven. And now I'm just going to blend this out a little bit so you can see what it looks like. It really went pretty heavy on that blend. That is one swipe with that doe foot applicator, just a dot. There is a bit of a dryness to this. It is cream to powder, so you do need to take care of it right away. And yeah, I would not dot this on the face. I would pick it up with a beauty blender or with a brush and just do, you know, one side at a time. But I do want to do just a teeny bit more. So now I'm just going to do one dot. I find it's better to do a swipe. You'll use more, but you can do this on your hand and really take as much as you want, where if you do a dot, you're going to have to blend it with the brush, and you might get a little too much on. So this is where the video is not about new products, and I'm just going to do some old things. Usually I turn off the camera, but I thought, why not? Why not? I'm going to go on with my Tom Ford concealer, and we're going to do a little bit of an autumn cool girl look, I hope. I did not do a test run on this. This color seems pretty good. This is, I guess, the time to remind you that if you're wearing a foundation that doesn't have a ton of coverage, you probably want to stay away from full coverage concealer because it'll look weird. I know, though, in 10 minutes or so, this will settle in a little bit, but see how it's like skin, 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 and whoop, concealer. That's something you want to avoid. There, okay. Too much on this side, it's fine. You know what I'll do? I'll just do a beauty blender that is not damp. And just remove a little bit. There, now we're a little bit more even. Now, brows. Somebody asked me if I would do a brow video. I have done a brow video, but I have to say, it was with a stencil, and it wasn't the stencil I usually use, and it wasn't until I finished the video that I found the stencil I usually use, so the brows didn't turn out all that good. I highly recommend stencils it's like training wheels. And after you use a stencil a couple of times, a stencil that you find that you like, you will get the hang of it and can go freehand. For me, I want to go under here. So I want to look at what's going on up here because I don't want my brow to go down. And sometimes I feel that it looks like it is. So I'm doing a little bit. There's hair here. It's just blonde hair there. And I have timestamps, so if you don't want to see this, you can skip right through it. And then I want to fill this area out. And it is shaped to give hair-like strokes, but I have never found that I can do that. If it's too heavy, just hit it with the spoolie. And another thing I like about this particular flat shape is I can lightly just go back and forth, and those blonde hairs will get, or gray hairs, will get some pigmentation on them. Boom. Makes such a big difference. It's not much, but it makes a big difference. The other thing I've been obsessed with is the Bennifer 2.0. I think there's two types of people in the world. There are the types who are romantic, and when they heard about it, they were cheering them on, and then there were types who are cynical and rolled their eyes and said, we shall see. I was one of those people. So I felt bad, like, why am I so interested in this? But I think it's because I felt vindicated, because you might be one of those people who you're a hopeless romantic and really thought they would make it. I did not. I did not think they were going to make it. Now, I know Whisper Atelier has new pods, and I did not get them. They looked very warm, and this was a limited edition pod that I loved because it wasn't too warm. I'm just going to pick up a little bit of color here and just swipe a little bit. It's this color here on my lid, which are looking pretty red. Whoops, a little darker. Picked up a lot. And I'm just going to show you because why not? This is the Rougher 36. Looks like this. I was using it for contour. I didn't understand the brush, but you put a little too much on. This is the kind of brush you can go on with because it's so big and dense. And then it's sloped, like yay. I'm going to have slope up. And look how nicely that diffused everything. Boom, super fast. So there is the look. I love this. It was so fast and easy and yet put together. I'm going to show you the lip that I was thinking of when I bought this blush. This is a Chanel called Nuance, and I am not sure if it is a limited edition or not. I'm not sure that I picked up the right one either. It's Inattendu. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right. Looks like that. And it was such a lovely, lovely look. I used it on my cheeks, and I thought I want a blush that will go with this color, a really deep, deep, dark color. And this blush does have a little bit of berry, so it's not exactly what I was hoping it would be. But let's just do the full look. Also, yesterday, I was saying that NARS that I showed in yesterday's video, their new Explicit, felt like these Chanels, and they do. Yeah, this is the right color. So a little bit of a winter look. I do feel a little compelled to pick up some of this. There's nothing wrong with berry. It's just berry blushes are easy to find, and blushes that don't have berry in them, it just, you see how this makes the look a little more wintry? This is fine. So, in conclusion, it is not the color that I was hoping it would be, but it's still a lovely color. It's easy to work with a brush or a beauty blender, I'm guessing, although I didn't try it with a beauty blender. But I would not recommend putting this directly on the face, especially if you've got a deep color. I fear that it will stain. It's a huge amount of product, so what I'm going to do is take all of these that I've bought in the last month and shoot a video tomorrow. That will be up on Wednesday, hopefully, maybe Thursday, and tell you how much they weigh, how much they are per ounce. I might do the math. I might not. And how I think they're best used, what I think of the formulas, and all that good stuff. Let's talk about the foundation. I just didn't have the time to do a 3-day wear test on this, and it didn't make sense to have a video that was just the blushes. So I thought, let's just do 2 different videos and have essentially a 2-day wear test. Even though it is oil controlling, it is not drying. It looked beautiful all day long. It 100% looks like skin. You're not going to get a lot of coverage from this, but it builds nicely. I don't feel that I need to powder, but like I said, it's getting a little warm, so I might do a little powder. I'm feeling a little moist. I said the word! So a little bit of powder. Yeah, I'm really feeling a little moist. It looks beautiful with powder. It lasts all day. It did not transfer to my shirt. And here's something very interesting. And I can't compare these apples to apples, but I wore the new Dior the other day, and I went to Sephora to pick up these items. And I was sweating. It was humid. It was hot. I was miserable. And when I took off my sunglasses, huge marks from where the foundation disappeared. Now, hot, humid, and that does not say that it is transfer proof. And this one doesn't say transfer proof either. I think it says resistant. Apples to apples I can't do because I didn't use this yesterday the same way that I used the Dior, and I love the Dior. That is full coverage, really easy and quick to apply. So they're very, very different. Different formulas, different coverage, different feeling, everything. But I was on the computer all day. When I'm on the computer, I'm wearing the glasses. I didn't get any rub off at all. So if you're somebody who wears glasses and you are sick to death of that rub off, or look, sunglasses, same thing. It was the sunglasses that did it the other day when it was so miserable. Then that is something that you're going to like. If I can find this lipstick, I will post it down below. I think it was a limited edition. I will have everything posted and linked down below. I highly recommend this foundation. I am dreading the idea of going to the Grove again. I'm not a mall person. I like to go to my little Sephora, but they don't carry Bobbi Brown. But I definitely want to try a couple of more colors with this. I would like to see. This looks fine. I'm looking on my monitor, it looks fine, but I'm curious to see what the cool beige might be, and I'm curious about a shade that's slightly darker. Even though when I put it on, I thought it was a little too light, it seems to be warming up just a little bit, doesn't it? It doesn't look as light right now, so maybe this is a good shade for me. If you have a life where you need some coverage, you need to even everything out, you don't want to look makeup-y, you have to try this. I'm so surprised. I'm really surprised by this. I think it's fantastic, and I'm definitely going to be looking at other colors and trying some other before I make a buying decision on what color I'm going to get, but this is going to be added to my arsenal of foundations. I really think it's comfortable, it's lovely, it's just looks like skin. I'll pull you in again. The blush, super easy if you do it right. Could be problematic if you dot it on. And the lip I'll leave down below if I can find it, you guys. And that's going to wrap up today's video. Thank you so much for spending time with me. I hope it was helpful, and I hope you come back again. Until we meet again, be safe, be smart, and I'm wishing you good health.